OG shit, you smell it.
What's that? I'm no G.
I'm over bad money, you know that.
Coolin', man. Man, I appreciate you
Talk about it,
tapping
what
in
it
with
do?
me, bro.
It's all love, my G.
Most definitely. And you can let everybody know who you is for the people who don't know, man.
I ain't hear you, what you say?
You can let everybody know who you is for the people who don't know.
Oh, Marcelo from the ghetto, OG.
Yes, sir. Where you from?
Wild Magnolia, yeah, I grew up in it. Oh, gas to the city and I blew up in it.
You heard me. Yes, sir. This Guapo TV and everybody tap in. We got Mr. Marcelo in the building. Yeah. All right, OG. I wanted to get straight to it, basically. You hear me?
Gonna trip and talk.
What's the difference between the Cali and the Magnolia?
Different. I mean, ain't really different. Like, it's real niggas everywhere. Not really different. Like, I think that in Magnolia, we probably was known for more hustling. Cali was known for more jacking. Real niggas everywhere. Ain't no difference from Cali or the Magnolia, the Melt, St. Thomas, the Florida, the Zion. Like, all projects for the real niggas.
And what part of the Magnolia you from? The old side or the new side?
I'm from the new side. I'm on Willow Street, Willow.
Now, is it the difference between the old side and the new side for the people who not from New Orleans?
I mean, to separate them, like the hallways and shit different and the bricks different. The color of the bricks different, but it's not no major difference. Not no major difference in the people.
Right. Like, which side you'll say was the wildest coming up in your times?
I mean, I ran on both sides, but I was really on Willow Street. Like my domain was really Willow Street. But I mean, I moved around through the project. Where I hustled that and shit like that was Willow Street.
Like, what's some notable people you came up with off of Willow?
Oh, Willow, shit. It's a whole lot of motherfuckers I came up with. Like, yo, of course, you know, I came up like with Gangsta, Hot, Stone, Booby Black, Soldier Strong, the Dooney Boys, Bird Gang. Like, you know, all it was like I come up with everybody in the project. Like, even Juvie, Turk. Like, our project was like more or less like family oriented. Like, the sides played a part, but like that shit wasn't no major part. Like Magnolia was really on some family shit. Like Magnolia was family. That's why we still like that. Like niggas we still represent each other like that. We still on some family shit. Like that, I always tell motherfuckers one thing about that. Know you hold each other down. We real family. Yep. Rest in peace, Bo Hickey, a real one.
And who is Bo Hickey?
So OG of mine, not that motherfucker who I came up under. Like I learned so much shit from so many niggas in that project. It was insane, like ridiculous. You know, and I think that a lot of that shit was they told me a lot of rules to the game and show the nigga how to survive. But that shit I ain't gonna tell you with no cakewalk of being in that project because there was a lot of shit going on. But once you understand, mind your motherfucking business, stay out of the nigga's business and all that kind of shit. Like, I mean, it wasn't as rough as motherfuckers would think it is. But like I say, that our project was family oriented. So it was hard for us to, like, we had motherfuckers who got into it and all kind of shit, but a lot of us was really family oriented. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I get it. I was trying to, like, you could tell us something about Stone that people probably don't know. And who is Killer Stone?
Stone was the big dog in Magnolia. Like, see, I always tell niggas a story about this. Like, Stone was a nigga who really put it in my head that I could rap. Cause like I used to be getting work from Stone, right? And when I started fucking with the music for a little while, I went back to him one day and I was like, say, well, I need something. And he was looking at me crazy. He was like, man, you tripping. Why you ain't doing no rapping? I was like, man, this shit just it's not it right now. That dude left and he came back and he gave me a brown paper bag with $7,500. He told me to get back to rapping. And he could have easily gave me fucking 2 ounces or something, the shit that I was doing at first. But he didn't do that. Like, he saw that shit in me. That's why I always got mad respect for Stone. And he always used to be like, you one good rapping motherfucker. He'd be like, see you in that bitch, Jules? Y'all two good rapping motherfuckers.
So, did you know Disco?
Fucking right, I knew Disco. Like I talked to Disco a lot. Like it hurted me when Disco got killed because I talked to him a lot right before he came home, and like we had plans on doing things and shit like that. So it really fucked me up with this.
Who is Disco for the people who don't know?
That's Stone the brother.
And how did y'all meet in general? How did y'all end up running with each other?
I mean, we grew up together. We
Right.
grew up together. Like they stayed on Magnolia. I was on Taladano, but I hung on Willow. But all us, like that whole project really damn near grew up together. I'm telling you, that bitch was really family orientated, and I think we saw more of that once we got out the project because we see how each other reach out to each other and all that kind of how we look out for each other kids and shit like that.
So you being in the trenches of it during the prime of, you know, what was going on in that time, what can you say is the difference between now and back then? What was
These
going
little dudes ain't
on?
got no morals and they ain't get no money. Like niggas could say everything they like. Motherfuckers could talk about all the killing that was going on at our time. We was getting money. Like if we was doing some killing, that shit made sense. They wasn't doing no senseless killing. It was behind that shit was behind something or it was a move that a nigga was trying to pull off or some shit like that. Think about these little young dudes right now, they ain't got no guys because they ain't getting no money. Like a motherfucker who ain't like I see demons in them little motherfuckers' eyes, but they not on money shit. Like that's what fuck it up. Cause the nigga who really getting some money, you ain't got time for the bullshit. And we used to always say B fuck up your money. So either nigga had to deal with it quick or we had to figure that shit out.
All right. How did you and Dodo end up linking up? And who is Dodo
I ended
for
up
the
being,
people who don't know?
I met Dodo in the penitentiary, right? But me and Doe wasn't like that. We wasn't cool. Cause at that time, like the crazy shit about this shit is, what motherfuckers don't know. Dodo done kidnapped my cousin.
What?
Yeah, Doe and a few dudes out of Cali, they had kidnapped my cousin, right?
Yeah.
But my cousin had to jump out the car and get away. So when I first saw Doe in penitentiary, like we wasn't like that. Or we had a mutual partner, which was Victor Newman, also known as Victor Simon, and that was my godfather. And Victor used to mess with Dodo's sister. So I came home, and then Doe came home, right? So Victor came, got me one day and was like, "I want to bring you around. I'm gonna bring you by somebody who fucking with some music." But that nigga brought me around there. He brought me in a fucking house full of Calio. It was like Calio and 3rd G, right? But us at that time, us and 3rd G, we ain't having no problem. I was fucking with niggas from off the at that time, right? So when I went in there, those like more or less said, you got to prove yourself. But I had a million raps, man. I used to write raps, walk around the project. So any beat a nigga put on, like I had raps. So he was just impressed by that. And I'm telling you, like from the day he dropped me off and left me, I was mad as a motherfucker with Victor because I felt like he dropped me off and just left me around niggas who I wasn't in like that with. Like not that I was gonna happen, but I wasn't in like that. But me and Dodo became damn near best friends from that day on. Like I could tell you a crazy story. Like I was fucking with when I first started fucking with the Calio, like a lot of people in my project wasn't feeling that shit because of the war that was going on, right?
Yeah.
But what I thought would show me a difference, come back to Stone. One day me and Dodo flying up, we just got the roads. Flying down Washington, right? Because I had started hanging in the Calio and everything. But we flying down Washington. Dodo see Stone, but I don't know who he see. We flying down Washington. That's where our project is. Everybody on the air pack of the motherfucker. Dodo make a U-turn in the middle of the street on the cell. I go behind him, but I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? He pull up right in front of these trees. When he pull up, I pull up behind him. Now, mind you, like, I had never seen, like, I ain't know him in Stone relationship. Yeah, when Dodo jump out that truck, Stone meet him in the middle of the street, Stone picking him up, hugging and all that kind of shit. And I was like, man, that shit is crazy. But they had built a relationship because of jail. They've been in juvenile their whole fucking life together.
Right.
The same thing with it happened twice though. Not even just with that. Like my OG KC. Like KC is a nigga like that's the motherfucker who I can tell you like I consider like that's my fucking OG because I always wanted to be like KC. KC was a young motherfucker in the project, had all the women, little bitty nigga with a big attitude, and he had money, and he was respected, and he had hands.
Right.
Laid off in the game, I found out KC taught Dodo how to fight. Like that was Dodo big dog too. So that's why like the connection just started coming from different places. It was because the people that I had respect for, he had respect for. So it was different. Then he was fucking with my partner TB. Like it was just like, you know, you motherfuckers develop a different relationship in jail, bro. Like once you get in jail, like motherfuckers develop a different relationship. So like it's a different kind of love.
Right. Now I understand. I understand what you're saying about that. And coming up in the Magnolia projects, like how did they accept you running in the Calio at that time? Being with the How did they accept you running with Dodo and the Calio around that time with the beef
like,
going on between
like
the Magnolia?
I mean, listen, like you gotta look at it like motherfuckers felt some kind of way, but like we was on some like listen, like we knew we was going for the money, right?
Right.
And like we wasn't really tripping off that. We wasn't on that. Like we wasn't really tripping off how people felt and all that kind of shit because the music was working. Like once he put out that Tough Guy compilation and niggas saw that shit was working, like we wasn't on no. If a nigga felt like that, then it was hate, and we both agreed on that. Like motherfuckers was just hate. But we understand that like motherfuckers have, you know, have their feelings behind past shit that happened, which is understandable. Because if that's the case, I could have had my feelings about past shit that happened. I should never been fucking with those. I should never been fucking with those.
Right.
But like what motherfuckers will realize is like a lot of motherfuckers who you like, especially for young niggas, I used to see I saw this shit as I got older. A lot of motherfuckers who I really wanted to do something to, like I'd be glad to see them niggas now. Like we acknowledge each other because we understand the shit that both of us been through. Like, niggas don't be on that shit. Like we literally be happy to see each other.
Right.
Because the niggas, we understand the shit that we've been through and the shit that we survived.
I get it. What's something you can tell us about Currency that people don't know? And who is Currency to you?
That's my brother, my daddy's son. Something I can tell you about him that you don't know. I don't know. Like he blatantly shows you who he is. Like that's why he lasts so long because he ain't got to be nobody else. Like he good at being himself. Like I'm gonna tell you like this. Like we used to run Spit out the project. Like I remember one time, I left Spit in a car. I had a Diamante, and I left him in the car, right?
Yeah.
And I was just going to run upstairs. I stayed right on Willis Street. I left him in the car, and I put my gun right there, right? And I was like, nigga, I'm fucking with him though, right? Like anybody pull up, knock they fire from there, right? Man, this nigga's about to shoot one of my best friends.
Spiller.
He fought, but he was just on some, but like we, like in our time niggas wasn't with that shit. Like I pushed my little brother out the street and they couldn't be around us when we were doing all that. Like the only time Spitter came around is when new Air Force Ones came out, a new Jordans, some shit like that. Niggas pop him off and get him from around it. Because like in our time it was like this, right? If a nigga ain't with that shit, you in the way. So some shit pop off, like you really in our way. Like you ain't helping us by being out here. And we was more protecting motherfuckers who really wasn't built for that shit. Like niggas wasn't, like these days niggas pull niggas in the game. We wasn't pulling niggas in the game, we was pushing them out. Cause like that was our safety net. Like niggas was looking at basketball players and all that kind of shit. Like these niggas who gonna be on in the long run. But we looked at it different. Like niggas taking cat niggas and all that kind of shit. But that shit wasn't nothing. I just think the money way different, bro. Like, I don't know, like compared to the money, like the money different out here.
Do you feel
like rappers look like dope dealers now? But that's the kind of money dope dealers get. Like, I'm telling you, man, rappers, listen, why ain't want to be no fucking rapper? Dope dealers had the most money.
Right.
You never really wanted to be no rapper. Like I was damn near forced into that shit. And as quick as I got into it, I was blessed enough to get a check. But I wasn't worrying about no rap and shit and all that kind of shit. You got to come get me off Willis Street to go to the studio. Because I wasn't on that shit like that. It wasn't feeding me. And I felt like I was missing money being in the studio.
How it felt having your first hit single in '92, P-Pop?
Bro, listen, like, see that head P-Pop and shit, bro, let me tell you what's crazy. Like, I don't even know how niggas found out I was rapping, but me and Musa always been tight, right? Like, it go back, but that's why my relationship with the Cali was like that, because my godfather was from the Rat Hole, but he used to be in the Cali. Magnolia, Melt, St. Thomas. Niggas used to be everywhere.
Right.
So my golfer used to be dealing with a man named Mike, a corner store in the Kelly named Mike's. So my golfer would come get me to school, and I hang at Mike's. Mike's is in the Cali. Mike is Musa dad. So Musa used to be on the cash register, and I just be the young nigga hanging in there while my golf father and his daddy was just taking care of business. So me and Musa been tight since I was like spit a man. Me and Musa been tight since I was like 12, 13 years old.
All right. How it felt being around Master P?
I mean,
that whole movement.
Like in them times, well, like that rap shit wasn't like exciting to us, and like rappers wasn't exciting to us. But I think that shit played a good part for me because, like, I don't never have nothing bad to say. Like, I can tell you some shit about niggas, but like, I can't say nothing bad about people because he told me about copyrights and publishing. I was mad at the motherfucker with him when he didn't want to get on this song with Baby. Because I had the opportunity to put him and Baby. I was the first artist to put Cash Money and No Limit on the same album. But I was supposed to have Baby and Stunner on the same record. Stunner with, I thought they had Stunner and Master P on the same record. Baby was with it. P wasn't fucking with it. So that's why P not on my second album.
How you had a relationship with Cash Money and No Limit?
Well, like the crazy shit is, it's a guy named Eldridge, right? Mm-hmm. That's Baby stepbrother. Like I come up under him. Like I had kids when I was like 13. I had kids when I was 14 years old. My first kid, I was 14 years old. And I used to hang in the 13 one, which is where my baby mama was from. And a dude named Eldridge just took a liking into me. But that just happened to be Baby brother. Like you hear him talk about him a lot. Well, sometimes you hear him talk about it, but he was a motherfucker. And he just took a liking into me. So that's like how I started. Like I was from the Magnolia. I was hustling in the 13 row. I used to be hustling in the flash because that dude took a liking. So for me to meet Baby, but like I said, Baby and Dodo had a good relationship.
Right.
And then I grew up right next door to Master P cousin Rashid. So I used to always see Master P going right next door before he got on. So everybody wasn't cordial, but we had facial recognition. Like we knew who each other was.
Right. I understand what you mean. Did you have a relationship with Juvenile?
Juve, my dog. I fucking Juve. I always tell nigga Juve underrated. That's a good rapper, motherfucker. Like, motherfucker don't know. So that fucking 400 degrees, bro. Yeah. Juve and I walked y'all through our project. Literally. Like, if niggas go back and look, I'm telling you, like, that nigga's name is Dolphins and how it was going down. Like, Juve, motherfucker, bro. Like, every time I see Juve, he called me to say that I called him to nothing. He'd be like, you good rapping motherfucker. The Stone used to always tell us that. So every time we see each other, we'd be like, you good rapping motherfucker. That nigga Juve, underrated. Like, that nigga walked motherfuckers through our project. Ain't nobody never did that better than him besides Slim. And Slim was doing it because he was experiencing the shit. Like, Juve had to get out that bitch and was walking us through it. Slim walked us through it when he was really in there, really living that shit. That was a different ballgame.
What was your relationship with Slim and
Slim used to cut my hair. Slim used to cut my hair. So like, man, Slim, we been tight. And Slim used to cut my hair. Like, you know what's crazy? Like, my best friend name is Gennaro, right? That's Slim's son name. Slim named his son after my best friend. Like, say, we used to be on this poetry road, like 2909 Taladano. Rashid used to cut hair. We used to shoot dice, but we just used to attract cool girls. So Slim them used to always come around there and fuck with us. Slim, Booby Black, Gangsta, like all them used to just come around there and fuck with us because we used to have all kind of bras. Like we used to have bras coming from St. Mary's and Seton Hall, and shit like that. Like it was just that we was attracting. I can't tell you how or why because I don't remember after that time, but motherfuckers just used to always come around there. It'd never be mostly motherfuckers out of the project. Like it'd be different kind of motherfuckers.
All right. And what was your relationship with Gangsta?
I mean, I came up with Gangsta.
All right.
Like I've been in the trenches with him.
And what about the rest of the original Hot Boys, Dooney, Mosquito, and Sterling? Do you have a relationship with them?
I've been no, I had enough like to go back to kids. Like I'm doing it from P Town, right? Because I had a baby mom in P Town, and one day I was back there, and me and his little brother cool too. He went to Foshi with him, but I used to be in P Town just sitting on the porch, and my baby mama brother and Dooney was tight as a motherfucker. So Dooney used to always be sitting on the porch. And like one time I got into some shit back there and she was there for me. Like, and that was way before like as in him hanging in the Magnolia, but I knew he knew like Sterling and all that kind of shit. But Sterling, like and when I saw him with Sterling, like it was a different ball game. Sterling was my nigga.
Speaking of Sterling, when you, I want to rewind it back to Dooney one time, because shout out to Truth Be Told, I seen him in his interview with Kenny Boo speak on the video shoot y'all did in the Magnolia, you and Dodo. And I wanted to speak on, can you detail in on, did you have to get permission from Dooney to come into Magnolia to shoot that video?
So check this out. During that time, it was like this, right? Like me and Dooney was already friends. Right? So I had conversations with a lot of niggas. Like I talked to Stone. Like I had conversations with a lot of niggas who saying I want to shoot that video back. And that was just out of respect because of niggas who I felt was my friends and motherfuckers who I felt like was big dog. Like I had a conversation with Jeffrey Sanders. OG, like I just had conversations with him to let him know what I planned on doing. The thing about that shit was so crazy about it is we were supposed to shoot in the Magnolia early in the morning. We weren't supposed to be in that Magnolia. Like, you gotta understand, it was a fucking war going on. The cameraman fucked around and went set up in the Calio first. Tripping. I don't know what made Chris do that. So by the time we get to the Magnolia, it's damn near dark. Like, what a lot of motherfuckers don't know is we ain't have no police.
Right.
We didn't have no police for the Hamburg video when we were in the Magnolia. But no police out there. But like it was crazy. Like I don't know how the fuck we pulled that. Because niggas really, if you look behind me, bro, niggas was really bumping. I'm gonna tell you what happened though, right? When we pulled up, Calio went to coming through, like the Calio was coming out the Washington side, and Victor said, I know what to do. He had excursion. He shot and he went and got hoodies from King Fashion. That's why niggas got on Calio and Magnolia. He went and bought like 20 Magnolias, 20 Calio. When he came back, he passed them out. And when we getting ready to shoot, I'm in front of the porch. And nobody's behind me or nothing because nobody knows what to do. It's like the Magnolia right there, the Calio right there, but it's poetry. So Vic like, man, look, we just need everybody on the porch. Everybody just got to get behind Cello. Come on, everybody just get on the porch. Man, to see all them dudes get together like that shit was way different, bro. And I can tell you to this day, bro, I don't know how that shit happened. Like, I don't know how the fuck we pulled that up. But like, that's why I had so much respect for like niggas out there Magnolia and niggas out the Calio because they ain't had that shit to do. Like a nigga could have easily said, "Cello, that shit not happening. We're not fucking with that." And me, as I'm a street nigga, so I gotta respect it. I just had to figure it out some other kind of way, but nigga really wasn't on that. Nigga really supported me. Like that's why I would anytime motherfucker ask me like, what helped me with my success? The fucking street supported me, bro. Like especially them two projects, them motherfuckers supported the fuck out.
Did you have a relationship with Randall, Calio Slim?
Nah, I met Randall before, but not like a relationship.
Right. You could explain to the people who he was and who is he.
So Randall was just a big dog out the Cali. You know, Master P cousin, the brother T Dub. But like, you know what was so fucked up about shit, well, like and it took so long for motherfuckers to get. It's like I felt like our time, we allowed like the younger generation to take on some beats that wasn't for them. Because us in the Cali, we used to be tight as a motherfucker at one time, right? And then it came the rumor that Gangsta killed Randall. And that shit wasn't true. But, you know, Gig being the gangster, like Gig ain't I went through this shit before, so I understood it. But Gig being a gangster and Randall, and you know, it's dubbed them gangster. Fuck, I'm supposed to call a nigga phone and tell him I ain't do it. I went through the same shit with Doodle. I swore, listen, bro. Like niggas lied, played all them stupid ass games, telling me a nigga killed him. A nigga who I grew up with. But the man that dude approached each other, he was like, who the fuck I'm supposed to tell? Like I ain't kill no nigga. Like if a nigga feel like that, then that's what it is. And I had to respect that because like niggas ain't like this is in these times, man, they ain't calling no nigga talking about what I ain't doing. If you felt like I did it, you probably had a personal vendetta and shit. But I felt like a lot of them dudes took on that shit, bro, and they ain't had that shit to do. Because that shit really, it wasn't no thing of that. Because like back in the day, the Dooney boys, Post boys, like it really used to be running through the Cali, you know, like running through the Magnolia. Like Post boy Joe used to stay with me.
What effect did the Hot Boys have on the rest of the street crews after them?
Wait, what you say?
What effect did the Hot Boys have on the rest of the street crews after their time?
I don't think like wasn't nothing like the Hot Boys. Like them dudes was niggas had money. They was with the shit and they had all the women. Like that combination of come like that. It just I don't know, like, and like I ain't never seen like anyone like motherfuckers would be talking like it's 15, 20 of them niggas, man, it was probably about 7, 8 deep at the most. There was motherfuckers. And they really got money. Like them niggas was doing shit like you ain't never saw no gangsters with the flash cars. You ain't never saw like niggas now who be playing gangsters, niggas ain't got no money. Like these was gangsters who had money. Like them niggas had flash cars, flash clothes. Like they just was totally different, bro.
Right.
Like there was gangsters who made the niggas who was sitting around being dope dealers all day. They made it look bad. I'm just telling you, just because of the times and how they rock. Like and them niggas used to be everywhere, fly as a motherfucker. Like one thing about that bitch gangster used to be fly. Bitch ain't play behind no clothes. And I think like our project was known for that shit though. Like we been on some fly boy shit.
Coming up the way y'all came up, how do you think it affected this generation?
I think we just like what I think a lot of motherfuckers go like I think like OG gotta take their licks for like a lot of the shit that's going on with this generation because like after my generation it became a thing of like the old niggas being dope fiends, dead or locked up. So a lot of these dudes had to really raise themselves. And OGs would come back out of, you know, been gone a long time and think you can handle these little dudes like little boys when they've been raising themselves their whole fucking life. So they don't have no respect for you. You ain't never done a fucking thing for them. See, in my time, like old niggas done something for me, it kept me out the way. So I had respect for them. But it came a time when like older cats wasn't around. Like you dudes getting raised by their mom. When you get raised by your mom, you trying to hurry up and be a man because you want to look out for your mom. And like I always look at it like I ain't never had no problem with youngins because I understand how to approach them. Like I treat them like men, and I understand where they come from. And I don't be on it. I'm so much of an OG because I've been around and I did that. Like I don't be on that stupid ass shit. But a lot of motherfuckers was. Dudes don't be having that shit. I always look at it like how I was in my time. If a nigga OG couldn't tell me nothing if I ain't fucking. Like you mind your business, stay on my business. And you gotta you gotta respect them to do it when they be like that because they never done nothing for them. It make you think you can come call some kind of motherfucking shots. And that's what old niggas get twisted. Like it's a difference between old niggas and OG. There's a lot of old niggas out here. And then they trick them to dudes into telling them they was in the streets and all that kind of dumb ass shit. And that shit be false. It be false narrative. So the ones who do lead them, they lead them wrong. Because they be telling them, hey, behind $200-300, kill a nigga. No nigga killing no nigga behind $200-300. That's a way to get rid of that nigga. That's how you get rid of him. the last 200 years ever different. But, you know, niggas who ain't never been in the streets, they don't understand how the streets go. So they was leading a lot of our kids wrong. And that shit kind of like happening now. And niggas ain't stepping up. Like, we allow kids to, like, we watch them the dudes. I just said this shit, bro. Like, we watch them the dudes become criminals and don't say shit to that shit hit your front step. Like, you sit 7-year-old in a store, steal, and you laugh at him. You think that shit funny. Then when he's 13, he's stealing cars. Then when he gets 16, he robbing your motherfucking ass. You watch him become a criminal. You talking about that's such and such little boy down the street. That shit ain't happening in my time. He got his ass whipped 13 times. And we got to get back to that. It ain't the kids. It's the village. The village ain't what it used to be. Like, the village wasn't having that shit. Like, the village raised the kids. Like, think about all, I know, you know what I mean? The niggas I know who, mamas who's on drugs and all that kind of shit. And them niggas still walk steady. Because just because their mama was like that, that ain't mean everybody else in the project was like on some fucking shit. Everybody else was. When them street lights went off, boy, if your ass had to get inside, you can get your ass inside. Old nigga named Lenny used to beat all of us up. Play with Lenny if you want to. One eye Lenny gonna beat you up. But we needed that. We needed that kind of shit. We needed that roughing up and all that kind of shit. Like, because when, like, them dudes would be great, a woman can't raise a man. Like, and they be with that, like, my baby and don't touch my baby and all that kind of shit. You create an animal because he don't have no respect for a man. A man ain't never did nothing for him. So coming up, he ain't got no respect for a man. And then some nigga think he gonna come up and tell him what he gonna do and how he gonna do it. Nah, playboy, that's not gonna happen.
What's your advice to the generation on what they should be doing to stay out of the bullpen instead of, you know, entertaining the other stuff?
Like, I'm more or less on the old niggas' ass. Like, the young generation just doing what they doing. Like, if we'd have had the opportunity, we'd have been doing the same shit. But it ain't no motherfuckers who, like, pulling their coattail. Like, and I don't mean telling them what to do. I mean just having a conversation with them. Like, niggas who really come from that shit. Dudes, like, bro, listen. Like, the dudes getting that penitentiary, they be a different ball game. But nobody ain't there to tell them.
All right. Another question I think somebody had was, who is Baby Kiki if you knew him?
Baby Kiki?
Yeah.
The milk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Baby Kiki. Like, me and his Paul still tight. Like, I always fucked with older people. Like, I had a ballroom, it had to be like 2009 or something. I had a ballroom right across the street from the milk. Like, his Paul held me down. And I had a ballroom right across the street from the milk from me and brother. I'm talking about that, directly across the street from me. And that nigga used to always come sit in there and just fuck with me. But I knew all them dudes from, like, my godfather and shit like that. I knew, like, I never really hung with motherfuckers my age. I always hung with older dudes. I was around with.
I get it. Did you have a relationship with Tonto, and who is he?
Oh, say, well, like, nigga, let me tell you something. I remember one time, like, told my nigga, one time, me and Shorty was going through some shit. Me and Spitter was going through some shit, right?
Yeah.
In the mix of the music. And that nigga Toe come through for it. When I was about to do the Magnolia Boys album, cause one day Dickie just called me and was like, we're gonna do a Magnolia Boys album. I'm like, I'm with it. And he told me who I was gonna be in. I'm like, I'm cool with it. So Seed and them come down there to get us. But I'm telling you, we so fucked up. My light's about to go off, Shorty light's about to go off, so we hesitant about going. And Spitter did a tape down there, I don't know which one it was, but we did a tape in that house. So we procrastinate. We bullshit, right? We got them sitting down in the van, we sitting upstairs, she like, let's go. Right? Then Toe called. Toe was like, man, put Cello on the phone. Me out. Like, what's up? You're like, man, what y'all doing? Why y'all ain't get on the road? I think they don't remember. Straight up. I'm like, nigga, ran through. The fucking lights about to go off. All that kind of shit. Nigga just can't move like that. Like, he like, man, listen, don't worry about that shit. I got you soon as you touch. I'm like, and Spitter won't bring the dog, right? This how Spitter used to be, because he's always been like that when it comes to his dog. And we in the Magnolia Boys land. I say, Spitter talking about bringing the dog. He say, tell Seed, stop, get a cage for that dog, bring it. When we got that, they gave us $5,000 a piece. I ain't record a fucking song like that. So different. Like that's why a nigga like that is a real fucking big home. And like it hurted me like telling niggas some shit like that because I ain't gonna say it hurted me, but like I wasn't comfortable with telling no nigga how a nigga fucked up like that because the nigga looked at us different.
Right.
But I had to just give it to him real. I'm like, man, we fucked up. And like me and Toe always had a good relationship. Always.
Nah, that's real though. That's real. That's what a big homie's supposed to do. That's what the big homies nowadays in this generation ain't doing. And another thing,
But like that's where I get it from. Like I get it from niggas like that. So like, I'm coming from that Florida nigga that ain't got no problem with it. Like, and the whole time the last thing a nigga had to worry about was money. Like niggas was more worried about loyalty and shit like that. Like money wasn't no problem. Like that's why nigga missed that project so much because you had to be. One thing about that project, you wasn't gonna do bad long. Somebody's gonna give you something. You had to be a complete fuck up to not get no money in that project. Somebody gonna give you something. Somebody gonna throw you something. I'm telling you.
Off the rip. I get it. Did you know the Magnolia twins?
Yeah, I know who?
The Magnolia twins.
Yeah, I know the twins. Man. Like me and Chandrick, that's their big cousin. We used to stay in the same house for a good little while, for probably about a year. Me and Chandrick got our baby mom with his cousin. But see my OG who I do the podcast with, like he used to be over there with Chandrick. Like he used to be over there with the twin. Then that nigga was like a fucking a so-called bodyguard. Nigga, we used to be so mad with him. That's why me and that bitch get into it so much on the podcast. That's my nigga though. But like we used to always be going around there trying to fuck with their little workers and shit, right? Like not like 20 used to have all kinds of niggas working for us. So we used to always try to go down there and pull off something.
Right.
And one time a nigga pulled around there and nigga said, man, they got some old niggas sitting around there. Nigga got a big old gun sitting in there. Like, man, fuck about the old nigga. He swung around there and saw that nigga on he was sitting by the apartments on the cell. And when I saw him, I was like, nah, he ain't to be fucking with. Cause I knew him from time. Like I knew he was one of them old niggas who was really on that shit. And when I say own it, I'm talking about on the gangster shit. Like, nah, we can find something else to do. I always tell him that.
Nah, I get it. And did you have a relationship with Ski Boo?
Ski Boo still my nigga. Like anybody out there, Project Wolf, like especially like in this era, like I ain't never had no bad blood with no niggas on my project. Never. Like I'm trying to get Ski Boo to do a podcast right now.
You could explain to the people who is Ski Boo?
I mean, Ski Boo was one of the motherfuckers who held down. He was with Dooney with the Dooney boys. Like they had him and Dooney developed a hell of a relationship, and they got it on, and they looked out for a lot of the dudes. That's why, I don't think motherfuckers understand the relationship of Dooney and them the dudes. Like that shit was different. Like them niggas was really getting money. Them niggas had niggas talk that shit about the Dooney boys about how wild it was. Niggas don't talk about the money them niggas. Like right. I don't know how people skip my nigga 20 racks a day. I'm talking about easy. And nobody couldn't sell no dope uptown when them dudes had that shit popping like that. Nobody. Like them niggas really had, and they open shop and closed it whenever they at times and shit. Like they was on schedules and all kind of shit. Like it was different. And it was really family oriented. Like they looked out for each other. It was a different breed. Like when Dooney got killed, that shit fucked a lot of shit up for the dudes. Like it sent them straight. But like I could tell you, like as in, like them niggas, they had a different mindset. Like them dudes was different. Like them niggas rocking private, iceberg and all that kind of shit for niggas was thinking about. Right. And they really was getting real money. Like them dudes was at a young age getting real money. And I think people overlook that because they be talking about that Dooney boy shit, like them niggas was so wild, which they was, but nobody give them the credit for the kind of money they was getting.
Speaking on the crews that was making money, you can speak on the Gotti boys.
Gotti boys got money too. Like Gotti boys, like well, them niggas got money. Like I think, like seeing that time where the money was so plenty. So it wasn't nobody who like Mel was getting money. Cali or St. Thomas was on fire. They always been motherfuckers like the money just was so different. Like the money was a different ball game. Like niggas, like I could tell you, like I was probably with Vic, I was 14, 15 years old, counting $1 million. Room full of dudes. Like, cause that's what my golf order used to have us doing, just count money, would never let us fuck with drugs. But like I was around, like when my golf was doing that shit, my golf was fucking niggas like Warren Mays, Slam, Richard King. Like I saw a lot of shit by me being so young and just running with my golf. So I knew a lot of fucking people. Like even from like fucking dancing them out to Florida, like I knew every fucking body because my golf order used to be every fucking where. So I knew a lot of older cats. I always knew a lot of old cats.
You can speak on Meatball?
Oh, who?
Meatball.
I ain't never really knew Meatball. I saw him before, but I ain't know him like that. Like that's like the era before me, like them, the Scullies, and all that kind of shit. Like that's Victor era, but a lot of them dudes gone by the time I got to school. Like who was around? Levi was still around. Tony D. Nate and the Nap. Like I saw a lot of that shit, but I wasn't in tune to it. Like it was just when I was jumping off the course.
Did you get the chance to run
like what I do remember? I remember these niggas out the project called the Full Horsemen. Eric Maurice. But let me tell you something that's crazy. Like I saw niggas in the project, and I saw this shit at a young age, and it fucked my head up. Cause I know Black and Mo used to be beefing with Jimmy Camoose, right?
Yeah.
Had a nigga named Ronald Camoose out of our project. This nigga the real #1 stuff. But I remember like they both was in the same project. Like Jimmy them used to be beefing with Black and Mo. Then that shit turned around, they became the Full Horse. And them niggas technical. Like that's the first crew I remember when I was coming up. Like the Full Horse. Niggas was.
And you said Robert Camucci. Who was that?
I was Jimmy Camoose. Ronald was under Jimmy. It was Jimmy Camoose, Eric Maurice, Black and Mo, and I think the dude's name was Terry. I'm not sure, but they called this other Full Horse. Man, they were motherfuckers. Like they was not to be fucked with. And that's the first crew of niggas who I see that formed the crew that I was looking like, whoa. But Black and Mo was the shyest. I can say Black and Mo was the shyest, but the shyest Killa I ever saw. That nigga would wear the same pair of shoes. Right? That's like, but that's just how the Magnolia was. Like we always was on some fly shit, and that's what Gangsta got that shit from. Like Gangsta and Black used to run a lot. That's where the Gangsta took the fly shit right from him.
When your second album released in 2001, Streets Got Love for Me, how that made you feel?
I ain't hear you.
When your second album released in 2001, Streets Got Love for Me, how that made you feel?
The Streets Got Love for Me album?
Yeah.
Like the Streets Got Love for Me album, a lot of motherfuckers don't know like that yet. I was the second biggest independent in the country. The only person who outsold me was Trick Daddy with that I'm a Thug.
That's crazy.
But that's when we really got independent money. But mind you, Dodo got killed right before I dropped that album. So I went on a hiatus. Like once Dodo got killed, like I was on some other shit. So I never promoted that album. I wasn't doing no concerts and none of that shit.
And if you can explain how Dodo got killed?
Niggas followed Dodo in the St. Bernard. Like we used to call this shit called spinning cones. We used to swing cones and all that kind of shit. And we used to always go by going to St. Bernard, go fuck with Blinded, look brought out the St. Thomas, our partner. We used to always go fuck with them. But that day when Dodo got killed, we always sitting by a bar on Dursion Walk. And Spitter used to always ride with Dodo. But for some strange reason, that day Dodo told Spitter he couldn't go. Spitter was mad than a motherfucker. And Doe really ain't give a fuck, but he had other people with him. But Doe pulled up to a store and the nigga swung around the corner and ran him down. But like Doe got fucked up because like that's why I wear belts to this day. Doe got fucked up because he ain't had no belt on. He was fast, the motherfucker. His pants tripped, and nigga stood over.
Man,
But
sorry to
Doe
hear
was
that
the
too.
fastest nigga in the world. But like that used to always wear handkerchief tied around the pants and shit. Like all this used to do that. But that's what really got him killed.
Who you would say the top 5 artists coming up in the city right now that ain't really getting their recognition?
The top 5 artists?
Yeah, in your opinion.
You mean like new artists?
And new artists, upcoming artists that come from the city though.
Bro, like the town is too big out here right now. Like I never saw this much talent in the city. The town is too big. It's too many motherfuckers to name. Like the city on fire with that. Like,
why you think ain't so many artists is going mainstream from the city right now then?
Huh?
Why you think ain't too many artists is making it mainstream from the city right now?
Mostly because a lot of us gotta step up. Like we gotta put a foundation together. Because it steps to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's why I started the podcast and shit like that, and I started the hip hop show. Like because I think we gotta help push them out. But like you know this bitch popping, everybody come to this motherfucker and take something from it.
Right. I know, I get it.
But I think they just don't have a platform from the city. Like it's a different ball game in the city. Like and this bitch so small. Like a lot of rappers don't fuck with each other. Cause like if this bitch so small, like if a nigga friend don't like you, then he can't listen to your music. Like this bitch is that small. Like the bitch ain't put a block on. But I think it's getting better with that. I think it's definitely getting better. Like motherfuckers learning, they understanding that like you winning numbers.
But you couldn't just put a top 5 out there of who you would say your top 5
Bro.
artists is coming up.
Top 5, bro.
In your opinion.
Bro, it's hard. Like, cause I like a lot of these. Like, I fuck with everybody.
I say this, not even the top 5, because that's like categorized. But who's some younger dudes that's just coming up doing their thing in the city that ain't really got a name? Not talking about like the 4-9s, the
Smoke, Cutter Black, J. Austin, Willow Boy, B3, Golf. Who my little homie name is? Q Perk with the hot song now. Man, it's a lot of them little dudes, bro. And there's a lot of women too. Girls, like, you know what I'm saying? This shit is different right now. It's a lot of fucking talent in this. A whole lot of talent. They're gonna be mad because they're gonna be names I miss. Get me this shit. But I fuck with all of them. Like I started doing a tape like 2 years ago called New Orleans, and I just put a tape together. And it just be like all the new upcoming artists.
Gotcha. Nah. And what? Before I'm gonna get you on out of here in a few. I just want to ask you, what's something you could leave with the people from the words of Mr. Marcelo? I was trying to see what's something you could leave with the people. Just words from you, words from the OG.
Man, bro, look, get your money and get out of the way. Keep God first. Let the haters hate because you need it for motivation. I mean, the biggest thing is keep God first. Hate gonna come. When you get the love, the hate gonna come. Accept it. Deal with it. Understand how to deal with it. And don't get tricked out your motherfucking spot. Yeah, there go Wild Willow right there. Young Wild Willow boy.
Shout out Willow boy. Oh God.
He be saucy. Young nigga be fly for nothing. No reason. But they probably got on $500 with his clothes right now for nothing. Ain't going nowhere. Hanging the hood.
Yeah, most definitely.
There's a lot of solid artists out here. Like this shit gonna get put together right. These niggas gonna get it right because they're seeing the kind of money that they gonna make now. Like first, you gotta make the small money. Like motherfuckers start getting on Death Row Kid and all that kind of shit. Like I think Nino showed them that. Like motherfuckers like Nino, Jay Jones showed them like the ride through the shit to show them how you could get money and make your way to the top. Like T.Y. did that too. The Jews, the soldier, like a lot of them really did that to show motherfuckers like how you really start from the bottom, but you could really get some money out there. Like nowadays, the way the game go, like is motherfuckers could come straight in getting some money.
Right.
Like you got the right product and the right promotion, you can make a few dollars. The niggas be too busy trying to be the baby and little baby and all that kind of shit. That ain't for everybody. Like motherfuckers, like people judge their success off other people's success, and they ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I had a phone call.
You be on nights like beer at a picnic.
When you did your third album, Still Brick Living in 2004, on your own label, how you put that together and like how you felt about that album?
Still Brick Living?
Yeah.
I like Still Brick Living. I still was in I was focused on music, but not like that. Like I was still fucked up behind doors. So I did the shit, but I was damn near like forced into it. It was a good album, don't get that twisted, but I wasn't on music like that, so I ain't do the proper promotion and all that kind of stuff. Because like it just came a time where I was just on some fuck music shit. Yeah. I still get like that sometimes.
Did you ever get the chance to make music with C Murder?
C Murder? Yeah, C Murder first nigga to take me on tour. C Murder on Streets Got Love. Like I put C Murder and BG on the same song. I'm the reason I call C to get on the song with me and BG.
Yeah.
And I was telling him I was gonna put BG on the song. He said he wanted to fuck with him. Like I hooked them two up. That's the reason why I'm all over that y'all heard of me video. Because after they did that record with me, then they jammed up and started fucking with each other.
But I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer, OG. I appreciate you tapping in.
I don't know tripping.